Okay, so in this video we're going to actually be looking at some basic synth programming. I'm going to run through the basic synth functions, what effect they have on the sound, and so we can get it really sounding just how we want it. Now the sound we're going to be making, or what we're going to try and make, is a real nice synthy bass sound, which is the sort of sound that you might find in styles such as house, trance, or just electronic music in general. And the synth we're actually going to be using is this one here. It's the Steinberg's A1 synth unit, which I found has a really good balance of functionality and simplicity, which is the reason why I'm using it to demonstrate today. So first what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at the sources of the sound, which is the oscillators in this area here. Now here you can actually select the type of waveform you're using, such as sine, triangle, sawtooth or square. You can also select the pitch of the note here, which for this particular sound we're going to drop it down by an octave, seeing it's a bass sound. And you've also got the controls for adding frequency modulation here. Now when you're adding frequency modulation, it can be quite easy to overdo it, which is why we want to keep it down low, but we need a bit of it just to give the sound a bit of definition. Because what it does, what the FM controls do, they add harmonics to the sound and make it sound raspy, which can often be a good thing. Now, the next major section we come to are the filters and the envelopes. Now, basically, these affect the behaviour of the sound, how it behaves over the length of a note. Now, on to the amplitude envelope, we're going to want it to have a nice sharp attack, which is going to give it some impact. But we don't want it to be too sharp, because as you can hear, it makes horrible kind of clicky sound at the beginning of the note. So what we're going to do, we're going to increase it a bit, and as you see, as I do that, it says up here how many milliseconds we're increasing it by. But we also want it to have a fairly constant amplitude over the length of the note. Now, onto the filter envelope. This is the one that controls various other aspects of the synth, such as the cutoff level, FM level, and all that kind of stuff. Now, like with the other one, we're going to want the sharp attack, but we also want it to have a sharp decay as well, because we don't want it like doing all these kind of weird kind of things over the course of the note. We want to give the note some kind of shape to it, and this is the envelope that we can do that with. Bring the sustain right down. Give it a quick decay. Now that is the kind of sound that we want, but we can really improve it if we adjust the controls on the filter section itself. First, if we start by adjusting the cutoff. Now the cutoff is already being controlled by the envelope, but we can also adjust it here as well. And we can also add some resonance to it, which increases the amount of frequencies that are happening at the filter's cutoff point. Don't want too much, we just want it probably about there. And there's other control down here, one that's labelled envelope, and what this can do, it can magnify, basically expand the range of the envelope, so it can really give it more effect as to what it's doing. And finally, what we can do on this synth, we can actually add a chorus effect to the sound. And this synth actually has one built in, but you can easily just use the plugin as well. And what you can see is what it's doing. It immediately widens the sound, make it broader, which is particularly ideal if the style of music you're doing wants the bass line to play a dominant role. Now, finally, what we're going to do is we're going to put it into context with the rest of the mix. Okay, here we go. Also, we can actually turn up the second oscillator. And if we put it up a fifth, And if you change the waveform type to maybe a square or a sawtooth, you've got that nice extra harmonic in there as well. And this sound was actually produced on the same synth, using cranking the LFO speed right up and feeding it with white noise. So that's another example of sound design we've got there as well. So yeah, that's basically one example of what you can do with a synthesizer. But the amount of things you can potentially do is absolutely vast, which is the reason why they're so widely used, probably the most widely used instrument today. Although when it comes to using synths, there's nothing wrong with using presets at all, but being able to create the sounds yourself from scratch is a really useful skill to have, as you can get it sounding just how you want it.